So our talk today is entitled Finding Help During Seasons of Hurt. Now, you're welcome to take notes if you want to, that's fine. But just, most people speak like 90 words per minute. And I'll try to speak 90 words per minute so you can understand, but I can, just warning, I can have gusts up to 140 words a minute. And I have a lot of points. I have like 24 points and then like 12 help ideas. So I got a lot going on. So if you want to just listen, that's great because I don't think you'll be able to, but if you take notes, that's fine too. But I do want to add a little disclaimer here. Let y'all know that I am not a licensed counselor. Okay, I haven't been to, I'm not a licensed Christian counselor or anything like that. And I'm going to be talking about some kind of sensitive issues today. Okay, and just warning that you might have, they call them trigger warnings. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm going to be dealing with some maybe past trauma, some things that you know what? Every lady in this room has had. And I think I've got 24. I'm going to try to do as quick as I can. But I've got 24, and I'll tell you right up front, personally in my own life, I have experienced 20 out of the 24 that I'm going to share with you. You know what? We all put a smile on our face, but just because we have a smile on our face doesn't mean that everything's perfect in our life. We all have hurts. We all have sorrows. We all have had trials, and we have all had troubles. So, disclaimer: if I'm sorry if I say some things that might offend you, but it might bring up some past things. But that's what we're going to deal with. And then I'm going to give you some hope. Then I'm going to give you some ideas how to get through this. But we need to jump right in. So. Let me start with the word of prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, I pray you help me. I need your help. I can't do this without you. I'm feeling privileged to be here. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, finding help in seasons of hurt. So, I love Noah Webster 1820 dictionary. So, the first thing that I did when I looked up the word hurt. Now, again, I'm going to be talking about. I keep falling because I'm follow this. So, when I talk about hurts can be physical. Our body, different types of physical abuse. Hurts can be emotional, psychological, mental. Okay, so I'm not talking about just physical hurts. A myriad of hurts that we as humans, we as ladies, can experience. So you all know what the word hurt means, but I like synonyms. And just to help us along the way, some synonyms of the word hurt would be to wound, to sadden, devastate. A synonym would be anxiety, trauma. Everybody has probably heard of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. That would be a synonym of the word hurt. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Our theme verse for the whole conference is, we've heard it many, many times, Galatians 6:9 says, and let us not be weary while doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. In Daniel chapter 2, verse 20, Daniel said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his, and he changes the seasons. So who changes the seasons? We've been talking about spring, summer, fall, and winter, and how we can apply that to the seasons in our life that we go through. But I'm going to give you a little example. Rachel Burrows and Marcia Trevlett, Rachel, can you come help me? They are from my home church. They came up yesterday and surprised me. I did not know they were coming. But I'm going to start. Now, I am not an earth science major. I have never studied earth science. In fact, I had to watch several YouTube videos and talk to Dr. Cowling. So if you know about earth science, just be gracious with me for this example. But you can just stand right here for this sun. So this is the sun. And I'm going to talk this, I'm going to apply this at the end. So this is important, okay? So this is very important. So this is the earth, okay? I'm assuming most of us that are in this room live in North America. If you live in Australia, everything's going to be turned around. So I'm assuming most of us live in North America. So I always thought that, okay, here's the sun, and here's the earth, And when they're real close together, it's summertime, right? Because it's warm, it's close to the sun. And then when they start getting a little cooler, the sun took a step away, and the earth took a step away. Okay? I didn't know any better. That makes sense, right? It gets closer to the sun and the earth, they got right. So we're right here in North America, right here, Hammond, Indiana, Walker Building. Right here. This is where we are. So then it gets colder, and then okay, so we start with summer, then we went to fall. So then it's like step away, and now it's winter. We're freezing, right? And then somehow the earth and the sun, they get to be friends again. So they come back together, and it's summertime. Okay, that's not the way it works. I gotta hurry. So what's actually happening right now is this earth is spinning over 1,000 miles an hour. So if you feel dizzy, that's why. Spinning round and round. But as it spins, it also orbits. The sun never moves, and the earth never moves, but it orbits. So as it goes around the sun, and I could explain this more, but just as it orbits, that is the changing of our seasons. Because, here's the key. Here's the main thing. It's the angle, okay, of the Earth on its axis, which I think is 23.8 or 28.3. I'm a little dyslexic. Sometimes I get things mixed up. But remember that angle, because that'll be, okay, thank you very much, Rachel. We'll get the sun over here, so it doesn't track me, because isn't it a happy sun? No, I love happy sun. So, let me get back in my notes and I can tell you exactly about the tilt of the earth. Okay, so let's just jump in. So again, finding out when seasons occur. In life, we all encounter seasons of hurt. Christians do just as much as unsaved people do. Just because we're Christians doesn't mean our life is going to be perfect. We all have problems. We all have times for it. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is nigh unto them that are of broken heart, and saveth such as a contrite spirit." And I need to breathe. Okay. Psalm 47:3 provides comfort. As the Bible says, He, God, healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. You've heard about Paul. Paul had what he called a thorn in the flesh. I don't know what thorn in the flesh was. I think God kind of leaves it open-ended so we can make it apply to whatever our thorn in the flesh is. Personally, I don't know. I don't want to teach heresy here, but I mean, perhaps it could be his thorn in the flesh was like even a mental anguish. Like, man, my name used to be Saul, and I would go into churches and drag people out and kill the husbands, and the children would be fatherless, and the wives would be widowed. We know the Bible doesn't tell us what Paul's thorn in the flesh was, but it is quite possible it could have been something to do, and that is very true. I'm going to get ahead of myself. Okay, let's go back. Paul speaks of the thorn in the flesh. Romans 8, verse 18 says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory which shall be revealed." Think of Jesus on the cross. And right now I'm just giving you some examples of people in the Bible. But Jesus on the cross, I mean, he cried out, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Can you imagine the anguish that he went through during that time? And I'm going to just skip that whole page. Let's just jump right in here. I'm going to start with labeling the hurts. Now I've got 24 different hurts, and there may be 30, there may be 50. I may say some things here that you can apply, or you think, yeah, I've been there, done that. That's something that's happened to me, and that there might be some things that I miss. So I've got 24, and we're going to go through them pretty quickly here. So first of all, before we can find help in our seasons of hurt, we need to label them. We need to acknowledge them. We need to come face to face with them. We can't hide them. We can't throw a blanket over them. we've gotta fix them and we're gonna get it head on. Number one, things that hurt, list of hardships that people face. Number one, loss of a loved one. It's a big one. You lose a family member, maybe spouse, a child, a dear friend. That can be a hurt that if we're not careful, that can be devastating and if it's not dealt with correctly with our emotions, can cause a lot of problems. Number two, illness or disability, dealing with chronic illness. Are y'all getting a little warm in here?
Yeah.
Is it just me? I feel a little warm. I'm gonna keep the air on. Hopefully you can still hear. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. All right. Air, go. It might take a minute. Come on, you feel funky. Oh, he's hanging on. Jeez. There's the air. Illness or disability, that can be a hurt that we have in our life. Mental struggles, you talked to me just a little bit about that. You know, I went to a ladies' conference, it's been several years ago, but they were actually poking at or making fun of being bipolar. And you know what? That is a real thing. There's ladies and we have hormones, and that is a real thing. That's not just something, oh, she's just happy one day and sad one day, or she can be up like this one minute and down like that. Is a real thing. And there may be some things in our lives that we do need to seek medical help for. So maybe financial difficulties. That can be a big hurt in our life. Poverty, unemployment, overwhelming debt, just financial difficulties, relationship problems, troubles with relationship, whether it's with friends or family members. That can make you feel lonely or isolated if you're cut off. Maybe some of you perhaps you have family members that has disowned you, you've been felt from them. Relationship problems, addiction and substance abuse. So prevalent, it is so sad, even our Christian service today, that you might have a serious injury and you get put on some kind of pain medicine, but what happens is you have that pain and the pain medicine helps your pain, but then when your pain stops, you keep taking this medicine, then your body doesn't use up that medicine, so what it does, it becomes an addiction. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with treating your pain, but it's pain medicine or alcohol or whatever, substance abuse. Educational setbacks, not being able to attend school, or just having a learning disability or something like that. It could be a traumatic experience, like physical or sexual or verbal abuse that you've suffered. And again, I'm sorry if I bring the tears here, but hopefully I'll give you some hope here in just a few minutes. And but I mean that's something if a little child and it's not dealt with, and if the offender says, don't tell anybody or I'll kill you or nobody will believe you anyways, and that child grows up thinking that with the life, that can just have devastating effects on a person. Caregiver responsibilities. Perhaps some of you in here are a caregiver to a loved one, and that takes time away from your own personal schedule and things that you enjoy being out doing that you can't do anymore because you have caregiving responsibilities. Social isolation. We're almost halfway there. I got to keep moving. Feeling disconnected from others, lacking a support, lacking a network of friends, unemployment or other challenges, immigration, displacement, language barriers, personal insecurities, struggling with low self-esteem. Maybe you're like body image, like, oh, I want to be like that person, but I can't be like that person, and just that can be. And these may, to some people, may sound like small, little, insignificant things, but it's something that you're going through, like a body image, so like something like that, like low self-esteem. It's real to you. Some of you may just like, yeah, I'm good, but being out one of these 24, you'll find yourself, again, I associate, 20 out of the 24 with success. You take it because there's others that I'm not going to mention, but very, it's what, again, we're labeling, we're acknowledging, we're making aware of some different hurts that could be in our life. Emotional pain, loneliness, rejection, guilt, disappointment, thinking about your past, failure, struggling with the pain of failure, whether it's academically or professionally, and rejection, facing rejection. You already have low self-esteem, and then if somebody rejects you, I mean, you're just like, I didn't get you going. It's just not good. It's a hurt. It's a true hurt. Something that people experience. Like abuse, betrayal, bullying. You know what? Bullying doesn't just happen in grade school and elementary school. Bullying actually can happen amongst Christian ladies in churches. Kind of plus 4 no more. And please do that, ladies. Don't be a bully. Don't. Brother Howard used to say, be nice to everybody because everybody's having a tough time. And I said earlier, just because we have a smile on our face doesn't mean that everything's perfect in our heart. So bullying can be one of those things that can scar us. I'm going to skip a couple here because but I do want to. I don't want to miss this one. Hurt by a spiritual leader, because I know throughout the ages of time, people have been hurt by spiritual leaders, but it seems so much more prevalent. I don't know if it's Facebook, but a pastor or somebody in the ministry, all of, immediately know all about it, all over Facebook and all over social media. This is very important. I'm just going to read this to you. Being hurt by a spiritual leader can be deeply painful and a confusing experience. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Spiritual leaders are often seen as guides and mentors with providing support, guidance, and wisdom. So our spiritual leaders, whether it be the pastor, the youth pastor, Sunday school teacher, anybody in a leadership role position, when they fail, when they fall, when they sin, it can be devastating. When they betray that trust or fail themselves, it can have a profound impact on one's faith or sense of oneself. Here's the important part. It is important to acknowledge and validate the emotions you experience. That's okay. Okay? Don't be validated all over Facebook though. Today I'll talk about this person. But within your heart, if you have a spiritual leader that has fallen, you need to accept that in your heart. So it is important to acknowledge and validate the emotions you may be experiencing, such as anger, disappointment, or grief. But remember this is what I want you to remember. A spiritual leader is like any other human. They're fallible. They may be a man of God, they may be a lady of God, but you know what? They're a man of God, but still they are more man than they are God. And anybody, in fact, Hammond, usually spiritual leaders have a huge target on their back. I mean, if the devil can take them down, he can a lot of times take down a lot of, I've seen churches like totally shut doors because the pastor messed up. And the church I'm not even going to come to this church anymore. So it can be challenging to reconcile the actions of a spiritual leader with their teachings. But this is important. But it is important to separate that individual's actions from the broader principles of the faith. Does that make sense? So it's important to separate. He's a man of God, but he's more man than he is God. He messed up. So we have to work to separate that. Just because he messed up doesn't mean that God's still not doing it. It doesn't mean that doesn't give us a right to mess up. Well, he did it, so I can do it. Or or he messed up, so I'm not coming to church anymore. I'm not going to church board anymore. I'm not going to read my Bible. He's supposed to be to God, reading his Bible every day. So if he reads his Bible every day, he messes up, then why should I even try? No. That's no. Don't think that way. Okay. Now, actually, I skipped a couple, and I'm so sorry, but I'm kind of limited on my time. Some people in the Bible who went through times, who experienced hurts. Job, can you imagine the loss of his family, everything he owned, just in one day, and then his physical, his physical health. And Jesus Christ, again, on the cross during his crucifixion, the humiliation, he bore the sins of the whole world on him. Jeremiah the prophet, who's just not serving the Lord, but he was rejected, he was in prison, he was beaten. Joseph, his own brothers, sold him. They wanted to get rid of that. And Joseph endured hard times. Hannah, some ladies in the Bible, Hannah God closed Hannah's womb, but still she remained faithful to the Lord. Things might not always go as we think they should go or we want them to go, but please just keep trusting the Lord. Don't lose faith in God, just like Hannah, and she remained faithful. Ruth is an example of financial struggles. All of them in her family died. Who the breadwinner? That's how they got their finances. But Ruth, so what she did, she went out and she worked hard. She provided for herself. She provided for her mother-in-law Naomi, and God blessed Ruth's faithfulness. Mary, the mother of Jesus. Can you imagine Mary? She's so excited. She's with child. She finds out that she's going to have a baby, but then at the same time, she understands that it's not Joseph's baby. The people around her friends, probably didn't understand that. How do you explain that? And so I'm sure that Mary, the mother of Jesus, experienced joy that she was going to have a baby, but at the same time experienced perhaps guilt or shame because the people didn't understand how this was possible. So I had 24. I think I gave you about 20. And but now the good news. Okay, let's go to the good news. So how to get help in times of hurt. So again, in your mind, think of the times, situations in your life that you need help with. Okay, so number one, how to make it, how to get through, how to start the healing in whatever's going on in your life, whether it's steal a cast, might be going on right now, or keep this in your mind because if you have hurts, they're coming. When nobody gets out of this life without hurts because of sin, because of the devil. So if you want to get something happens to you and you want to get mad at somebody, don't get mad at God. He is good all the time. Get mad at the devil. He's the one that messed everything up. He's the one why there's sin. So number one, seek God's presence. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge, a very present help in trouble. Number one, how to get help during your times of hurt. It's not time to turn your back to God. It's a time to seek Him. It's a time to ask Him. It's a time to pray. Ask Him for comfort. Ask Him for guidance and to identify your hurts. That's what we just spent the last 15 minutes doing. Identifying. Again, don't try to hide them. Don't try to say, well, because you know what? They're always going to pop up. Something's going to trigger. They're going to pop up. You've got to deal with them. So identify the hurts. Be honest with yourself and acknowledge your pain. Number 3, search the scriptures. The Bible is rich in passages that will comfort us and help us. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed. I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." Search the scriptures for verses that will help you personally through your times. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is nigh, the Lord is close, and the Lord is near to them that are of a broken heart and a contrite spirit." He understands. Matthew 11 says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So, number 3 was search the scriptures. Now, you're going to think this is the same, but the reward is apply them. There's a big difference between searching them out and then applying them to your heart. When we search them out, we read them and they go up here. When we apply them, they go right here. They're hidden. Thy word has been put in my heart. That's what, so apply the scripture. The Bible is not merely a book of knowledge, but it's a guide for life. Number 5, seek spiritual support. Be faithful, attend, and be faithful to a local church. And ask your pastor, seek spiritual support. I would say, number 1, start with your pastor's wife. But you know what? There are several good. I told you I'm not a licensed counselor, but there are some out there. And there may be times that we need to seek professional help. But I want to encourage you to always start with your pastor. Go to your pastor and ask him. Talk to him. Can you recommend somebody that I can talk to? There's different situations. This is a big one. Practice forgiveness. Healing often involves forgiveness. If your hurt stems from the actions of others, it's important to release any and all bitterness or resentment you may be harboring. You know what? Sometimes people may hurt our feelings and not even know it. Especially, they get insecure, and it can be just a little thing, and they don't think anything of it, and they might not even know that they are feelings. They might not know that they should ask for forgiveness. Forgive them anyways. You've heard that little saying that bitterness, because that's what happens. When you have unforgiving spirit, that turns into bitterness. And you've heard the little saying that bitterness starts stored the vessel in which it's stored, then the vessel in which it's poured. So number 6, this is a big one. Practice forgiveness, whether they ask for forgiveness or not. Maybe your offender knows that they offended you, but they've never asked for forgiveness. Forgive them. Practice forgiveness. Colossians 3:13 says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. Okay, here's a good statement. Forgiveness is unlocking the door to set someone free. Figure that? Forgiveness is unlocking the door to set someone free, and then realizing he was risen up. Forgiveness is unlocking the door to set someone free, then realizing that you were the prisoner. By forgiving others, you free yourself from the weight of anger and resentment. Number 6, focus on your purpose, not your pain. What I mean by this is focus on how can these things, these 24 things or 30 things or whatever's going on in your life, don't focus on your pain. Focus on your purpose. How can I help others? How can you might see somebody and they'll be talking to me and you're like, yeah, I went through a similar situation when I was 8 years old, and here's how God helped me through that situation. Focus on your purpose of helping others and not your own pain and suffering. Number 8, make your suffering a ministry, not a mystery. You're going through something and you may be like, oh God, why? Why? This is such a mystery. Why am I going through this? But turn that mystery into a ministry. Not a mystery, but a ministry, and then you can minister to others and you can help others during their times of need. I go here. Remember how God helped you through past hurts. Get counsel from your pastor's wife. Next one, trust God. He loves you. He knows all about your hurts. Please, God does love you. Sometimes we do go like, why me, Lord? Why am I going through this? He has a plan. He has a purpose. It's kind of like a puzzle, we don't see all the pieces, but God knows exactly how all of those pieces, even somebody who's hurts, how they're going to fit together and make us better for this service. Trust God. I'm glad to have Dee Francis back here. She's a dear friend of mine. Miss Wilkerson's mom. She's deaf. And we have some other deaf over here. Do you have other deaf over here? So we have a deaf ministry. Yes, we have a deaf ministry at our church. One of them say, they don't know a lot. I'm a slow learner, but one of my favorite sign language words is the word trust. So what they do, I want everybody to do is take your 2 hands like this and put them together like this, like you're holding onto a rope, okay? Kathy Rice, in her sign language for the deaf, where she teaches trust God. This is, if they say American Sign Language, they'll say act like they're holding on to a flagpole or something like that. Like Kathy Rice is better. So the word trust is like this, and this is this. So remember this, okay? Because at the end, you remember we're going to do this. So remember trust. Number 12, trust God. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all my heart. Lean not into thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, he shall direct thy paths. It's what trust, right? So I'll do it. Trust. Hang on. Sometimes you might need to, like, how does that, like, tie a rope and hang those, whatever you do. Now, trust God. Hang on to God. You've probably heard the statement, time heals all wounds. That's not true. I would say it right now. Time does not heal all wounds. I wish I had more time. Time does not heal all wounds. It's what you do during that time. It's these principles applied. It's the scripture. It's the things we talked about. The key is applying them. Also, here's something else to remember. Healing is not linear. What I mean by that is healing is not, okay, what if this is she told us all these things that we can do and we're going to be healed. So I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this. All my wounds and all my anxiety and all my post-traumatic stress and everything in my life will be better if I do this and this. You know what, ladies? It's not linear. It's not. There's no certain things that you can do because we're not God. God can forgive and forgive us. We can forgive who we can't always necessarily forgive. Healing is not linear. Healing is messy. Healing isn't maybe like, okay, I'm going to have to do it, it's something happens and I'm back. You know, like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. You know, or it could be like, I'm doing great, I'm almost over this, I'm getting through this, and then something happens. It's like, yeah, like it's big. Healing is messy. Healing is not linear, and healing it is different for every lady. Healing is different for every person. It's unique to each individual. I'm going to skip a couple things because I have some good statements. The journey of healing is complex and unique to each person. Being positive doesn't mean you don't have any negative thoughts. It just means you don't want those thoughts to control your life. Being positive, you know, y'all look happy, but I know you have hurts. We all do. So just that smile on our face doesn't mean that we don't have any problems. It just means that we've learned to control those things in our life. A smile on my face, oh, here it is right here. I've said it like 3 times. A smile on my face does not mean my life is perfect. It means that despite my challenges, I choose to focus on God's blessing. And here's something very important too. One day, you will tell your story with someone. You might not have the opportunity to share it on a platform in front of a lot of people, but one day you're going to tell your story to another individual, maybe a big group of ladies. One day you will tell your story about how you overcame what you went through, and it'll be someone else's survival guide. It'll be like, you know what? She made it. I can make it. You'll be an encouragement to someone else. So one day you'll tell your story about how you overcame and what you went through, and it'll be somebody else's survival guide. I have just a couple minutes left. I'm just going to read this. In the depths of your hurt and pain, remember that God is near. His love is the balm that soothes your wounds. His strength is the anchor that holds you steady. And His grace is the light that guides you through even the darkest of seasons. So, what I want you to remember, I give you a full load of information. But if you only remember, there's 5 minutes. I mean, if you only remember 2 things today, I want you to remember trust. Let's all do this. Trust in God and tilt. Trust and tilt. My son's behind the piano here. Not my SON, my When hurts come in their life, that's what I want you to do. Trust and stay tilted for God. Don't move. Some people just like totally turn their back. Like, God, you are not good to me, and I don't want anything to do with you. And they turn their back on God. They get a cold heart, and it's messy. So stay tilted. for God the Son. Stay tilted for God, you know what I'm saying, stay tilted toward God. So the trust, the studio, trust, and the tilt. Trust and tilt. So, and I need to skip that. Trust and tilt. I have a poem I wrote for this, and I'm not at liberty to pass it out in this class, but if you want to stop by my table, you can pick up a copy of this poem. But I wrote this poem for this class, and I'll read to you real quick, I promise. This is called Finding Help in Seasons of Hurt. In each season of life, trust God's way. He'll guide your steps each moment, each day. In seasons of hurt where heartaches grow, His grace shines through with light aglow. He walks along, a steady guide, through troubles and tears. He's by your side. He saves each tear. He knows your pain. Cast your burden on Him. He will sustain. Embrace your season. Let healing start. Be not feared and spring battle apart. New grace He gives from trials faced, with hope renewed and gifts embraced. Then you can help others along life's way. Many need hope just to make it today. Use what you've learned. Tell how God helped you. A discouraged person you may renew. Some hurts won't be forgotten. Some you'll always bear. I don't want to dishearten, just make you aware. Paul asked for his thorn to be taken away. God didn't remove it, but gave grace for each day. So let your heart find solace. Let your soul find peace. Trust God's perfect plan when some hurts don't cease. Embracing your hurts, you'll find God's grace. He's a refuge secure in whatever you face. Just trust on Him, in Him, and hold on tight. Sometimes it may feel it takes all your might. Be strong in the Lord. He always prevails. In your seasons of hurt, know God never fails. Then one day up in heaven, on that bright blissful shore, all hurts will be over, remembered no more. God will wipe away tears, no suffering will be. From seasons of hurt, we'll all be set free.